it just creates these like really fun moments, and especially the ups. The like, oh damn it, I fucking buried my foot in this shit. How do I get out of it? And it's just that fucking Benny Hill moment where it's like, how does this person get out of this? And it's like, dude, figure it out. You're here now. What are we doing? The rest of your party is looking at you.
The rest of your party is looking at you, but none of their characters are here.
Some of them really want to help. And
if they knew that you're in trouble, they'd send you a sending spell saying, hey, just say this or just do that. But you know what? They don't know.
Yes, we're recording.
Well, all right. I was gonna say, hey, anyone could do the introduction and this new combination of 2-person unfortunate ones take the damage, but you just gotta give me the go ahead and a countdown to go, something like that.
No,
forget it.
The thing,
we've been recording for the past 5 minutes, baby.
Yes. The thing is, I really was planning on doing the 3, 2, 1 to you, but as soon as you said it and we got giggly, I was like, this to me is what is the best part of when we did the pre-show, was when we were giggly into
the silliness,
into the open.
Yeah, the authenticity of a show that isn't really planned or scripted. It's just people having fun doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right. So, welcome to Take the Damage podcast by Unfortunate Ones. Today I am your announcer for the intro, Graythorn.
I'm Nix.
And what are we talking about today?
Well, today, let's roll on the loot table. Oh, God, this thing is rolling. Look at this thing. Whoa, stop.
Oh, is that a 20? Oh, that is a natural 20. We're talking about splitting the party. Totally not a fudged roll, everybody.
No, totally not. That was a magical dice that just kept moving, and it landed on 20. I don't know what it was doing. It's so great. How do you feel about splitting the party?
I love splitting the party. All right. It is the worst meme to ever hit the internet was some jerk off saying, never split the party.
Yeah.
The worst thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In some cases, you shouldn't split the party. If you have a party of people who are new to the game, all of them.
That's what I was going to say.
All of them new to the game, don't split the party. Keep them all together.
I think that's probably, I saw you catching a breath that you were going to get onto something, so I don't really want to stop you from doing that, but go ahead.
Can't help myself.
I can't help myself.
But adversely, sometimes when you have players who are split from each other, you can get some magical interactions that would happen when they're all together.
Yeah.
It is sometimes a gem. It is something. Sometimes you can get, as a DM, out of players, things that you would never get if they're all together.
Yeah.
I know we talked a little bit, me and Sav talked a little bit about it on the absent players episode.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you just need less people in an area for the spotlight to shine. The spotlight to shine on one of your players.
Yeah. And
usually that doesn't happen if they feel like somebody else could also be doing something instead of them.
Oh, for sure. That to me, that's a really good reason to split the party. It's funny again, it just so happens to be that the absent player was the subject when I was absent, and then we have split the party when Sav can't make it. I can't remember the background in my head right now, but like I feel right now Sav is split from the party. If there was a window and if I was good enough as an artist, I would love to try to draw Sav outside the window, like doing something else. Like his character's just back there.
Just take his character and put it same pose, same everything.
Oh God, yeah, same pose. Yeah, I should do that.
Yeah.
But anyways, one of the things you hit on earlier, which is like, it feels like the internet meme, the default answer to splitting the party is don't split your party. It's going to cause this problem. It's going to cause that problem. And even for me, as having experienced it in my own games where I've run it, where like there have been bad things that have happened. There have been people that have been left out from splitting the party, and people get bored. I think that idea really does resonate, and I think it is something you should, like, for the most part, abide by or try to abide by as a DM. Like you said, when you have newer players, if you have like a large group of newer players, splitting the party does become a much harder thing to handle. People get bored, people kind of zone out, and it's like it becomes a thing where it's hard to then manage your party, to manage the time, because like especially a lot of newer players don't necessarily have that kind of like player responsibility mentality where they're trying to be aware of everyone else at the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just them having fun.
Yeah, that's a good point, because like sometimes you'll have people who think like, oh, when is it my turn to play? When realistically, it's like you're all doing a thing. You're all doing, this. What do you guys call it?
The community storytelling.
Yes, that. Yeah. You're all doing that. Like sometimes some people just cannot handle that. They see somebody else doing something and like, when is it my turn to throw a dice at something?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
But then some players who I value very much, they very much enjoy watching the other person's storytelling going on and listening to all the things that they're messing up.
Yeah. I mean, from my experience, that kind of person is usually somebody who is a more veteran player.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who has maybe as little as one campaign. If you have like one campaign in your belt and you have like a couple of short, like one shots that you've done and maybe sprinkled in a couple of mini games, to me, that's a veteran player, because that means that you've like played the game long enough where you found something that resonates with you about the game, some aspect of the game that you just really enjoy. And in my experience, those players like to sit back and watch. They like to sit back and see other players do these decisions. Like they like to see their DM come up with these answers, or like that storytelling, that back and forth. They don't have to be a part of the narrative. They're just there to watch their narrative play out.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that is like the cool part about splitting the party. Like, and that is where like once you do have a table that is more veteran players, that's where I could be like, okay, now you don't necessarily need to stick to the adage of like, don't split the party, because like sometimes it's fucking cool shit. Sometimes it's just like,
oh, I wonder how this guy's going to handle that thing, because I know how I would.
Exactly. That's the thing that goes to your head is like, fuck, how would I react to it? And then you're like, when the thing plays out, it's like, oh, dude, I would have never thought of that. I can't believe you got it. Like, good thinking. Or, depending on the table and your friends and how open and close you are, it's like I don't know if I would have made that decision, man. Like, I think if I was here, I would have done this or whatever. Like,
I wouldn't have sent 5 letters back to the gang.
Yeah. I was thinking about that incident with Ace, which is we had a player at the table who Sav was a DM, where he did this thing. He was lone wolfing. He wanted to do a gang infiltration. So he went on his own to this city to infiltrate this gang, to get information and whatever. He was a little fast and loose with like sending letters back to the party. He would like go have a meeting with the bad guys, the leaders, go to the post office and send a letter. He would go like grocery shopping, and then he would go to the post office and send a letter. And then it's like, oh, hey, he kind of casually walked by a gang member and had like a nonchalant conversation. Real quick, I'm gonna go to the post office. I'll be right back.
Learn some plans to move some stuff somewhere. I'm gonna go tell the boys.
The first thing he does after this big important conversation of like, hey, we're gonna be doing this at this time, whatever. Real quick, I gotta go to the post office.
Yeah.
Anyways,
some magical things can happen.
That happened, and everyone at the table, at least me and you, I remember we looked at each other.
I think when he sent the second letter, I'm like, don't send any more, please.
Yeah, we were like, ooh, this is bad decision making, or this is something that if Sav wanted to, if he had something in his world to catch this is those openings.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those openings you're putting yourself into. Then he had a whole moment where he got brought out asked to have like a meeting or something. I don't remember the full details, where he was like taken out of the city by like a group of this gang member, and then they confronted him. They confronted him about his letters. They had one of his letters. They apparently they had an inside man in the post office, and he alerted them that he was sending these letters to the same place over and over again. And like the ensuing gunfight and like the miraculous, like, how did he live and how is he walking away from this? I remember being at the table like, this is fucking cool. Like, this is a cool story moment where like, how the fuck, like, oh my God, did he hit? Oh, like, dude, what's your health pull at? And he's still like, there's no meta conversations. So we're just like looking at him and he's like, I'm really hurt. I'm bleeding. And this other person is like, oh, they're bleeding out. He killed this guy. Oh, fuck, there's still 2 guys left. And so like, I'm sitting there fucking nail biting, waiting for like, what's the next move? What's happening? And I think it was like, he managed to like crawl his way away from the situation, having gunned down or mostly gunned down everybody, fainting, doing Sov's like death checks, which were really harsh in his system in G&G, but like, I think like natural 20'd and like got up and was able to crawl a little further and then knocked out again, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then got up again.
He got up and passed out like 3 or 4 times.
So it was fucking crazy. And it was just like this moment where like he eventually got to the city, back to the city, and got to a doctor and got healed. But that whole event was like, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened if any other person was there, or if the party was there at all.
Yeah, if the party was there anywhere close, it would have been, if we were watching him, because that was also another thing that happened is like, Ace had gone and do something, and then like me and another person were tailing him. We're watching him from a distance to make sure everything was okay. Like that was a separate incident. Like that would have been happening.
Mm.
And like as soon as he got ambushed, it would have been, everybody would have been in. Everyone that was watching him, everyone that was there to protect him. And like it still would have been cool. Like it still would have been a cool moment in the story being told.
But he's still not acting completely independently.
Yes.
There's no one to back him up. There's no one to fall on.
And kind of like what you said earlier, which is like letting a player shine. Ace has a reputation. And I know there's a good chance Ace is going to be listening to this. But Ace has a reputation of not necessarily making the best decisions in a lot of scenarios.
The most interesting decisions, but not the best.
Not the best. Where it's like, whatever. Those were one of those moments where like it was the actual fight and the survival of it and the getting back to the group was like kudos. It was like, dude, this was cool. Like it was one of those like really cool moments that he did. And it was like, all right, man, like the table got a little bit more respect for his play after that. Still like some critical words for what led to it happening. But still it was like, dude, this was awesome. Like this was like a lot of the stuff he was doing was working. It was just one mistake that led to it, and he got out of it really good. It's like a really cool moment.
Yeah, it was one of those moments that we play the game for, right? Like those big narrative, like shifts, cataclysms, near apocalypse, it was fantastic. Like another G&G, I think had a lot of those instances because the leader of that crew was right here. And as a DM, I love it when my party splits.
Yeah.
As a player, I'm making my party split.
Exactly.
If I'm in control, which is a bad thing to do if you're soft.
It's very funny. I actually never made that connection. I didn't really make that connection until right this moment, that how much you like to split the party, and you were the tent pole. You were like the leader of the crew that we were in. And now that we're talking about it, it's like, oh, we split the party all the time in G&G.
Oh, yes. That's another thing, too. Like what I said is like it helps sometimes place the spotlight on somebody who wouldn't otherwise get it or who otherwise wouldn't put themselves in it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I did it a lot with Colton.
Yeah.
Did I do a lot with Colton?
Uh, there
I
were
think Colton
ti-
was a little more independent on his own.
I already kind of I already had my own independent things, and you would, if things needed to be done, I would usually go and do that stuff. Um, but a lot of the times, I think there was a couple moments where you had me kind of lead like a small offshoot crew to go do something, but it wasn't as often. I don't think as some other players.
Yeah, one thing I really wanted to do was just to like try to get the more novice players
Yes.
in a
And you-
role playing situation.
And you did a good job of that.
I did it with Jimmy and Tomahawk and Red,
Yeah.
and I don't think I made Lucky do it. I think he kind of just did it on his own in some cases. Another one of those magical situations, though,
Yeah.
though not necessarily my fault, although I guess I can take the blame for just being absent on that game, is when the whole the livery incident.
Oh yeah, I was getting
Another split party
you
episode.
You were kind of brushing in that area, but yeah, immediately that was what I was thinking.
Yeah. And that created a whole mess, a whole funny, interesting mess where our gang just ended up owning a livery in the black neighborhood of a 1980s town.
Yeah.
And it's just, out of a local black man's hand and into a white man's hand. So
Yeah.
there's obviously some strife that's to come of that somewhere.
Yeah.
And just it created an amazing mess. All right. It gave us one of the most amazing scenes
Oh yes, yeah.
ever.
Yeah. It's that one. I think if I'm thinking it's the.
I thought this was America.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking. I thought you were talking about. There's that whole incident sparked so
Yeah,
many memes.
so many.
in our like
I
our
wish
personal.
I wish the 3 weeks preceding that incident were all recorded because they were fantastic.
Because it was, for me, the biggest one. I know the one you're talking about. For me, it was the business moment. The one where, like, Lucky, and again, Lucky, God, is trying to make sure that the audience understands what we're saying because we are so ingrained in the history of what this was. So, like, it's just talking about splitting the party and letting novice players shine. It was Jimmy, who is a younger person, also novice to D&D, and it was like, okay, Jimmy, you kind of are going to take the lead onto doing this one task. They did this one job up here where they gunned down a wanted gang and they stole a bunch of horses. So they stole horses from this gang and they're going to bring these horses back to town to sell.
And the gang's notorious in the city.
The gang is very notorious in the city.
In bed with the sheriff.
In bed with the sheriff. I don't know if we knew that at the time. But
I think we kind of did.
I think we had hints. We had hints that the sheriff was in bed with the criminals. So, anyways, he has this task to bring these horses into town. He botches it. He does a terrible job. There's a communication failure where we try to relay. I think in the last episode we talked about it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like he just made some bad decisions. It happens. Very funny. Awesome event. It's an awesome thing that you and your friends will always talk about when a player just makes decisions that just leave messes in everyone's hands. It's a great D&D story. So Lucky tries to remedy the situation, goes to the livery where the horses were being kept. The owner's already very wary about everything that's happening. He had a man who was standing next to another man that was bloodied and shot up, as the other man said, "Hey, I'm going to put horses here." And I think he paid extra or something. I don't remember exactly the full details of it. Then he has another well-armed man show up and say, "Hey, those horses you took, where are they?" And it's like this whole thing where it was like, from the perspective of the livery owner, this very like, oh, did I get myself into a terrible situation? And then Lucky, trying to be honest, openly says that these horses belong to this notorious gang. So then this livery owner is like, holy shit, I got into a mess with this new group of gun-wielding men who are apparently seem to steal horses from the most notorious gang in this group that have probably been harassing everyone in this town, probably many people that this person has known. And he's just, you know what? I don't want any part of this. And then Lucky gives him like an offer or something, like this much amount of money.
No, he was just gonna bounce. He's like, hey, let me buy this place.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it was. It was like this guy was just leaving. He didn't want to deal with it. He didn't want to get killed. And so Lucky was like, here, let me just give you money to make it feel fair. That's what happens. He gets this deed. He now owns delivery. Now, again, this is a part that I don't quite understand about Lucky, where he wanted to make sure that the business transaction seemed legit. And in his mind, the way to make that seem legit is he took the office desk that was in the livery, he put it in the middle of like the livery or like the middle of one of the walkways, or if you open up the stable, you can see it from the street. At least this is what I remember him doing. Put that open, put the desk there, and then just kind of shuffled papers. And he did that all morning to make it seem like he was making business decisions about what to do with the livery or something like that. To make him seem like he's a business owner in the middle of this building. So when people pass by, I guess so they don't question, or they go, oh, look at that guy with papers. He must be the owner. This must be a business that's doing business things. So I'm just going to move on with my day. So in my mind, when we made fun of it, was like, Lucky just goes into the middle of this place and goes, well, business. So it's just like, all right, I guess.
Another one of those moments you wouldn't have got if everybody was there.
Yeah. And it was like the one you talked about was a bunch of stuff happens. He gets confronted by members of the community. They get the sheriff involved. The sheriff, who is a corrupt sheriff, starts to question Lucky and starts to antagonize Lucky. And they are in this, Lucky is brought into the sheriff's office. They get into a kerfuffle where they're arguing with each other. And not out of nowhere. It felt out of nowhere. But
under you and what authority?
Yes, you under what authority are you doing? I forgot what it was. I thought this was America. Like saying that, it was just like, it just
in the middle of the sheriff's office,
in the middle,
surrounded by deputies.
In the middle of the sheriff's office, surrounded by deputies, but not just a corrupt sheriff. And I remember that moment happening, and I remember looking over at Sav and like seeing a flash of like real anger, not like real anger, quote unquote, real anger, but like a visceral emotional reaction of Sav trying to play this character and having some person who thinks they are somehow above this corrupt sheriff start yelling at him about under who's I'm the fucking sheriff. It's like, arrest him. I just remember that whole thing. God, it is one of those things where like you said, I wish we had the motivation and the idea to start recording anything around that point.
I already had that motivation idea. Nobody wanted to do it. Everyone's afraid.
Yeah, I know. we yes, we sat on our thumbs a little bit. But man, God, again, that was a moment between the GM and Lucky. It was a split party moment. I think I was like also split away from a big chunk of the party. I had just come into town.
Your split moment sucked because you were just riding on a horse for 2 days.
But my split moment was also, I thought, very funny because everyone else was dealing with this.
And you were painting a livery.
Oh God, that was another. Yeah. That was after. The whole mess of what was happening. Oh fucking Christ! I forgot I did that.
Another magical moment. Would this psychopath have done something like this if other people were around with him to bounce ideas off of? No, this psychopath went and painted a livery.
Look, in my mind, a better way to show, again, this could be not a better way either, was instead of doing the shuffling papers in the center of the business that everyone could see, why don't I look like I'm sprucing up the place? Why don't I look like I'm repainting? I'm changing the name of the livery, like new management. There's new ownership. That was my thought. That was my intention to be like, you know what? I'm trying to make this place look better. That looks like something a new owner would do, right? But also, the crazy irony of it is like, I don't remember. I think I might have put less guns on me. But also, I do like the image that I am a very heavily armed gunman. And I'm just walking through town going to buy paint and painting the side of a fucking barn.
You got a wheelbarrow, got buckets full of paint and supplies.
As I have like 2 handguns, a shotgun, a rifle. I have all these. I'm just loaded to the teeth with guns and ammo. As I'm just like, just doing business things here. Just painting the side of this wall.
This is why you always split the party. Because you don't get stuff like this.
I mean, there are such like fun, funny, dramatic like moments that could happen from splitting the party. But again, it's also like, it's very important who is splitting the party, and also like how your table is, like how the people at the table are reacting to it. Also like the amount of people that you have at your party. And I think that was the other problem, which is like what put a negative taste in our, and like, well, at least mine and Sav's, like in our mouth, like a negative taste in our mouth of splitting the party was when I did it a lot during Lord's Fall. But it's also, I did it when we had such a huge party.
Yeah.
And it's also like Ace was a little bit more, I wouldn't say not respectful, but he was just kind of like, he was playing the game the way he knew how to play the game. And so he would just spend a lot of time kind of shopping. And so like, that's the thing where like I indulged it too much as a DM. So like, it's not just on, Ace.
There's a very strong amount of DM responsibility involved in splitting the party. Sometimes you got to bounce back and forth in between, like party or split people actions and stuff. Like if you're just following a guy doing his, I'm going looking for a new bow or I'm looking for potions, and you spend like half an hour to an hour on just that, you're kind of fucking up.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things where like at the time I liked playing the characters. I liked playing my role as the DM, which is do all the voices, be all the characters, be the shop owner, be this person. So when like one of my players wants to go to the shop, guess what? There's a guy there and he has a full rich life of owning this shop or, whatever led to this point. So you have a conversation with him and he's going to do his thing. So when my player wants to go shopping, guess what? To me, that's a cool moment. I get to have this, but not recognizing that like, this is one guy, and I have a party of fucking 8 people.
Yeah, that was particularly bad with that table size.
Yeah, and it was just like, I should have been able to recognize as a DM to be like, hey, I would love to play this out. And I would love to have this moment with you where we're RPing, because I love it, and I know you like it too. But the rest of the party, what do you want? Text that to me, or write that to me, what you're looking for, and then we can deal with that later. Yeah,
we can't spend a half an hour on getting you a denim poncho because we got 9 other people at the table.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I can maybe spend 5 or 10 minutes with you, to play out a little bit of it and then be like, okay, like after the game, we'll settle on exactly how this transaction worked out, but let's move to the rest of the party and figure out their stuff, like, because unless you're getting something that's very pertinent for like the next thing, like I can't imagine the scenario where like you split the party. It's one person. You got 5 other people at the table. This person goes to the shop, but the rest of the party is to go, they're going to go do this major event. And like, you want to have this RP moment at the shop where all of a sudden the shop has the fucking, what do you call it? The ex machina. This fucking shop has the thing that solves the problem over here. So like, you have to resolve that moment, I don't know how often you actually have those things, those moments. So like, I can see that being a thing where you have to deal with it. But a lot of times, again, it's somebody getting a health potion.
Mm-hmm.
It's somebody getting, 10 more arrows or like maybe a new bow.
Yeah. There's a level of when you split the party, how much attention you put into it has to be role played, or how much attention you have to gauge how much attention you got to give to that person
Yeah.
while they're split. Like if someone's just gonna go buy ammo, then you just go like, yeah, you can find a shop. Yeah, you can get as much ammo as you want. We don't have to actually role play any of that.
Yeah.
You just say, yeah, you can find a general store. They have arrows.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, exactly.
But like if they're going on like a specific thing, like what was my second game ever that I've ran, my party gets to town and they split up, all three of them in different directions. One of them goes to complete a quest he was given before the game started. One of them goes to a bar and then decides this game's not for me, so I'm just leaving the game. And then one of them's like, I want to find what's around town, anything interesting. So you go, all right, we'll roll for this thing. Okay, we'll go to you who wants to do your quest. Let's do your quest. Okay, we're halfway through your quest. Let's go back to this guy. Oh, you find this place that's well known for allowing you to torture elven slaves.
Sure.
And they're an elf. They're a former slave. They're runaway slaves. Like, I don't like this place. I want to go in. So you play through that a little bit. Then you go back to the guy doing his quest.
Sure.
He does his quest, learns some things, and then he goes back to a bar where they say they're all going to meet up again. And then you go back to the other person. They do their thing. They kill a patron of the place and almost die themselves by eating a 9-point firebolt cantrip when they have 10 HP.
Okay.
They make it out alive.
Oh, jeez.
They make it out alive. And, that starts a series of events that you wouldn't have gotten if you split the party.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a heavy level of responsibility on you, the DM, on how much attention you're giving to each player's things, right? So, like, the third guy who decided to leave in the middle of that game, he wanted to go to a tavern and listen for rumors, like Skyrim. Yeah. Go ask people for rumors and get a quest in your quest log. And
hello, traveler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw a mud crab the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you give him little bits and pieces, and if he bites, you land the hook.
Sure.
And then once you land that hook, you go to the next person, and once they do enough talking and learn enough things, you go to the next person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, like I said, always split the party, but you have to have a strong responsibility as the DM when you're doing it.
No, knowing that sometimes your players, we talk a lot about player and DM responsibility in like different scenarios. This is one of those things where one, it would be nice if you're, as a DM, your player was conscious, but you as a DM, there's a ton of responsibility on you to make sure that like everyone at the table is having fun, that nobody's being left out of playing the game for too long, that everyone is active, and everyone, like you said, you give just enough to the player that's playing so that when you do leave them, they're not just like, man, I was in the middle of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
You leave them with just enough where they're thinking about the next thing that they're going to be doing. They're in a moment where like you as a player, at least this is ideal, is like you as a player, there's tons of moments in D&D where you're like, or any TTRPG where you're like, fuck, I wish I had time to think about this. Think about the next thing that happened. Cause like people are coming into the room or whatever. It's like, all right, we're going to step away from you. We're going to go here. And to me as a player, I'd be like, oh, thank God. I get to think about it. I get to breathe. I get to be like, okay, if I do this, if I do that, blah, 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 blah. Takes a little bit of attention away from what the other player's doing. So you're not paying too much attention to what they're doing. But also in meta, that might be better because you're not supposed to know what that other person is doing. If you're on your own little world trying to figure out what you're doing, and all of a sudden you're back at the table and you're like, oh, that's cool. This person's here. And then Dan's back to you. It's like, hey, so what are you doing again? It's like, oh, fuck, I'm doing this. And so like, if you can coordinate it that way, where you can kind of give these little bits and these little moments for your player to really sync on, like that's the best. You're not always going to get that. You're not always going to be able to set that up, but like that would be like the absolute best outcome to have for splitting the party in this way and trying to manage your party in these little tiny pockets. One of the things you were saying, I'm sorry, do you have anything else you wanted to add? I'm rambling.
Go ahead.
But one of the things you said was like one of your characters, the one of your guys came across this like elven, like there were elven slaves being tortured or something, and he was a former elf slave, so he wanted to go, potentially do something about it. That's another thing that happens when you split the party, is now you not only get to highlight that player, but that player then gets a chance to connect more to the character, because now he gets to really sink into the motivations of his character, because he has nobody else who has motivations around him that are going to change the decisions he'd make.
Mm-hmm.
So
someone else could like stop them from even trying.
Exactly. Which is like, to me, that's a little different than letting the player shine or letting the player have motivation. It's you're giving even more opportunity for the player to connect with this character. So like now he gets to like really sink in and really sink into like doing something as his character. So like it's damn, the more I talk about it, the more I like splitting the, like this whole conversation. I like,
yes,
splitting the party is really good. Oh man. I mean, I think I said it earlier, but like I think the main adage comes from a place of just trying to be mindful that nobody's bored at the table.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you, I think the actual true origin of it is when there's combat involved. And so like when you have the party split and then you have a combat that happens somewhere else, usually you're probably playing off a module. So there's a certain amount of things there.
Sure.
Maybe the DM doesn't know how to adjust for 3 people as opposed to 5 people.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
And that combat's going to take like an hour.
Yeah, especially if it's 5e. I don't know like Pathfinder enough to know how long those combats can drag.
I don't really know either. It's like that combat could take an hour, and like the amount of in-game time that's passed has been like a minute.
Yeah.
So that is my opinion, like the actual true origin of where Never Split the Party has come from.
That makes sense too, because like you said, that is in playtime. It's an hour of combat, and then when you go back to game time, like when you go to what actually happened, it's only been a minute. So you can't necessarily cut back to the other party and be like, all right, so what are you guys doing in the minute that just passed? It's like, well,
and like unless they're like so far away that it doesn't even matter.
Yes, unless it's like it's already going to take travel to get back together. But like if they're within the same city, it's like even if I went back to the other party, it's only going to be maybe 10 minutes before you guys meet up again, because there just isn't that much time to actually play out a scenario with that other split party. So do you then just like avoid trying to do combats in your split party scenario? Or do you try to do things to make it so it happens faster?
In cases like that, I think what I try to do is I try to make it seem as if the combat would just be a bad thing for the players to engage in, and it's their choice to engage in it unless they do something really dumb. So like, for example, if one of my players is like walk into, I don't know, a gang's tavern and start shit.
Sure.
My inclination would be like, hey, you guys make the NPCs be like, hey, you guys, we don't like you, we don't like what you're doing. We're going to, we're just going to kick you out of here, or we're going to throw you out, or maybe we'll throw a few punches, but there's so many of us that if you fight back at all, you're not going to win.
Sure.
We're just going to kill you.
Yeah. Make the opposing force overwhelming and unaffected by the player, so that like you can kind of just push them out of the scenario.
But then you got that guy.
Yes.
And you got that guy who's like, I cast Firebolt. I'm like, all right, well, you guys are getting into a fight now, and the rest of your party is an hour away from you by foot.
Yeah.
If they had horses and knew you were fighting, maybe they can get here in 10 minutes.
Just to let you know, yes, they punched you and they hit you, but none of them look like they're going to aggress you again. They look like they just want you to leave. Yeah, I'm gonna load up my next bolt. It's like, Okay, they're staring at you. They look like they're ready to defend against the bolt. Like, yeah, I'm aiming it and I'm going to shoot. It's like, God damn it, dude.
Yeah, there's always that chance of that happening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Like, I'm trying to think of how you would try to avoid, like, getting people sunk into a long combat. You know,
Really, it's just showing them that there is a very bad consequence to the situation.
Yeah.
And then even if they do continue with it, at the end, I guess you can always just not kill them and just make them a prisoner and throw them in somewhere. And then now you have a whole new problem you got to deal with.
or again, if your force is overwhelming, it could be you just kind of knock them unconscious, you know, and then they wake up hours later.
Yeah, hours later, all their stuff's gone.
Yeah. They wake up in a ditch and they're just like, ah, shit. If the story at that moment is this overwhelming force, or you could just like, on my head, think just antagonize them, like do something to kind of like show them
that they're gonna lose.
Yeah, or like that there was something here and then that thing leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can't even chase it. Like it's so fast or whatever, and it just gets out of their viewpoint, you know. And then that as a DM, that would be like fudging a little bit of statistics, but also the whole situation is kind of fudging it because it's you could literally try to paint a picture of like they're in this tavern and there's like 3 people, and all of a sudden as they are antagonizing, you want the overwhelming force, and then like out of the shadows of the wall just melt out like fucking 30 other people. It's like, well, because I'm the DM and you didn't ask for the full picture of what this room looked like.
Well, 60 guys crawl out of the basement.
You actually didn't notice that the chair you're standing on is actually just another bigger guy. And he's there looking at you. You're like, damn it. How did I not see the situation I was in?
Oh no, the consequences of my actions.
Speaking about the consequences of actions, you want to roll on the loot table?
Sure. Now, because we have so few,
Let's get hyped.
and our dice is at 20, just pick a number between 1 and 3.
Okay.
Let's
I mean,
go
gotta
and
let the music
see who our sponsors will be.
Come on.
All right, I'll go with
Let's
2.
go roll on the loot table.
All right, and that'll be Questcraft. Hey, you. Yes, you. I see you there, pressed up against the wall trying to be all sneaky beaky like. I passed my perception check. You? You failed your stealth check miserably. Now, it's not your fault. Well, I mean, it kind of is. Look, you have a 10-foot wide hallway and it's decently lit. Anyone who isn't blind can see you coming. You're not so good at this. Now, I get it. There's a lot of skills that we need to utilize on our day-to-day, and it could be a bit of a struggle becoming proficient in any one ability, especially when you're trying to go all about it on your own. Now, you can go and find a proper trainer, but then you gotta find a schedule that fits theirs, you gotta stick around to doing some proper training, take some tests, you gotta make room for all of this, and you're still out sneaking into some rich noble's house and robbing them blind, potentially putting your entire life on hold. Why do all that when you can join the virtual guild hall of Questcraft? Questcraft is the ultimate platform for adventurers seeking to learn new proficiencies and master old skills. Are you a budding sorcerer looking to perfect your arcane arts? A rogue eager to steal the clothes off an unwitting guard? Well, we got a quest crafted just for you. Questcraft provides a treasure trove of knowledge taught by seasoned adventurers from all across the realm. From crafting potions to mastering swordplay, their interactive virtual classrooms are brimming with the knowledge you need to unlock that ever so evasive bonus to your role, and it's all done at your preferred pace. It's time to put an end to your loud and unstealthy gaffes and go embark on a Questcraft.
Oh, dude, that's so good. Dude, I want to so badly. God, I want to so badly make a world where all of the shit's in there. Like all of these ads we do, all these fucking stupid things, it's in that world. It's like they exist. It's like just blended into the background of the world, or all these fucking little stupid fucking ads we do.
Oh yes, the billboard with the Wormcraft.
Did you see that picture?
Yeah, I did.
I was like, okay, this is a shape I blur that. Cool. I made this one a shape. Cool. It's like, oh, this is like fantasy setting. I'm just gonna make this wiggly thing. There's this thing that is just a shape. It is this wild looking shape. It's like, cool, put blur on it. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's a thing. Oh my God. You gotta, I mean, if there's only 3 options, dog, you gotta write a couple more of those bad boys.
Yeah. Yep.
And of course, I can't help you. This is where we split the party. I can't help you because I need to be surprised by it because I just need to as a person. I could easily try to help you. I could easily try to write something in this style that you're doing, but then I won't have a good time listening to it.
Yes, this is the part where the party has forcibly placed upon me a task that is getting increasingly difficult to do. It's like 21 ads, 16 of them completely original for me. And I got 2 more left, and I got to make more.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We can make the compromise. If you no longer want to edit, you don't have to edit, but you got to make more fucking ads. You have to do something. I'll take your share of the edit work if you just make more ads for me. I mean, for the company. I mean, for the show.
For me.
For me. Again, it's one of those beautiful things while splitting the party.
Those magical moments you wouldn't get otherwise if everyone was there. Just screw it up for you.
It's also like, again, even the screw ups, even all whatever. It's
especially the screw ups.
Yeah, it is those that is part of the magical moments. Those memes that like the stuff that you and your table will always talk about. Like, as long as you have like a consistent group that you're playing with, and you know, I get it. Some people aren't fortunate to have that situation where they don't have like a consistent group that they play with, and like part of me, I can't like, it's hard for me not to talk in the situation where you don't, because like, I've always had it. I've always had a consistent table. Like we have friends that we've known that like we've played with and we don't play with anymore. Not for any reason, but they just don't play the game anymore. But like the table that we've had where it's me, Gray, and Sav, like those, we've been playing together for what, 3-4 years now?
Since before COVID.
Yeah, so 5 years, 6 years. I don't know what it's like. And like we bring friends on to come play every once in a while, different games. I don't know what it's like to not have a consistent table, to not have a consistent friend group that like you've played the game for so long with. So like, I don't know what it means to not have like, to not be able to tell these stories. So like, it's hard for me to try to like share from that perspective. But when you do have a consistent table, when you do have like a group of friends that you've played a long time with, God, the memes that get generated, the fucking funny moments that you will always laugh at. There's not a time where I won't laugh at business, where I won't laugh at fucking This Is America. Like, or like Ace running up a fucking tree thinking he's going to get advantage.
Have advantage in trees.
Because he's a fucking wood elf. And it's like, what does that mean? Dude, like.
Don't forget, he also tried to set fire to that bar.
Yes.
Wouldn't have happened if somebody else was there.
Dude, it's these little things because you forget about some of them. And then you get reminded, oh, you remember when this person did this? And like, holy shit, I forgot that they did that. I forgot that they, like, it just creates these, like, just really fun moments. And especially the fuck ups. Especially the oh, damn it. I fucking buried my foot in this shit. How do I get out of it? And it's just that fucking Monty Python or Benny Hill moment where it's like, how does this person get out of this? And it's like, dude, figure it out. You're here now. What are we doing? The rest of your party is looking at you.
The rest of your party is looking at you, but none of their characters are here.
Some of them really want to help. And
if they knew that you're in trouble, they'd send you a sending spell saying, hey, just say this or just do that. But you know what? They don't know.
Probably except for most of Gray's characters, who would probably at some point just pull like a ration out of their pocket and start eating it as they're watching your players struggle.
Balmar definitely would do that.
Balmar was split from the party the entire time, even when he was with the party.
Exactly. Balmar was there to observe.
Balmar
and to facilitate chaos.
Balmar acted like a split party member in front of another character, letting them die because he was just like, eh. There was another character who was dying in front of him, and he was like, I'll deal with that later.
Now, there's a hut over there. I'm going to go check. Nobody told me to tend to the fallen ranger.
Oh, I'm looting this house. I'm doing my own task.
My job was not to come here and protect my allies.
I think you might as well have just stepped on his fucking dying body as you walked into the house.
It would have been fine if he just didn't roll a critical failure.
And then it was later on. It's like, hey, did you check on him? Who, this? And you're like, oh, he's dead.
Nobody asked me to hit him. I cast lightning. I don't know what this healing is. Cure wounds? Why would I remember that?
Ugh. Does it involve lightning?
That's not
or
shatter
thunder?
or call lightning. Okay.
I love Balmar. Balmar was good. He was a fun time.
And then Botan would have punched you after learning what you did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm trying to remember moments, like different moments of the stuff that we've played where, I mean, because it's in the same vein, like, of course, regular, like not regular, but like how people normally play the game where you don't split the party. Great moments, great times. And we've had plenty of those.
Mm-hmm.
We've plenty of those moments where like the party's together, we're united, and you know, people have different tasks that they're doing in this moment. Like we had a whole like setup in a canyon where we robbed this like gun manufacturer's like delivery, and it's great. We had different groups that were sort of split, but they were split in responsibility, not technically split the party. You know, this group over here was laying dynamite. This group up here were the sharpshooters, and this group down here were the run-in men. They were going to run in and charge. And so, like, great, awesome, good times. Everything's hunky-dory. It is just like, I think the end result of this conversation is just me further realizing how much I enjoy splitting the party. I thought coming in, I was like, I like it. I thought it was going to be like the scenario that we have where like, how like it feels like there's a good amount of topics where me, Gray and Sav are kind of like different ends of the spectrum. Like one of us is kind of in the middle on a thing, and the two of us are on either
the opposite sides.
The opposite sides. I thought it was going to be like that. Like split the party was going to be like, and Sav has a very high leaning towards not splitting the party. But you know, maybe we clarify that in the next time he's in for a recording, kind of get a little taste of this topic, have him cover it a little bit. But I think I'm leaning so much more towards splitting the party.
Yes. Botan's whole existence was to expose everyone to the magic of split parties.
I mean, when we played Realm Watchers, that for a long time, that was how we opened the game.
Mm-hmm.
We opened the game a lot of times with the split party. It was just the concept of we have like the whole point of Realm Watchers were like you were all like kind of like lone wolves. You were all kind of these like marshals patrolling the land. You're these guardians that just kind of, you guys get to live your own free life, traveling the countryside, traveling the realm, and then you get notified that there's an event happening, and you get to choose whether or not you are going to accept it if it's close enough, if you can reach it within the time parameters that the thing needs to get solved. So like there isn't necessarily a way for your players to meet up to like quickly. So we just had it like, hey, what side of the realm were you from? Were you traveling from? And then you're like, oh, I'm traveling from the west.
Yeah, at the start of all my games, after I drew the map, I'm like, you could come in from here or here,
We did,
or
yeah.
the road or the river, all that stuff.
I forgot who started it. You may have
I
started
probably
that.
may have started it.
Yeah, and so we all adopted that. We all adopted the like, here's a rough map. Where are you coming from? And then I don't know who started either. Maybe it was Saab, maybe it was you. Or like we rolled the dice to see even where we came in. Like it was just like, oh, here's a 6-sided dice or an 8-sided dice. Where on the compass am I coming from? I'm coming from there. So it was we would even randomly determine. So then it would be like, okay, you both come into the town separate times. How do you guys figure out? And we had like cool moments where like one of our characters would learn this little bit as they're coming to town and asking questions. And then one of our other characters are like learning this stuff. And maybe these two threads force the characters to go into this direction where they just meet up almost on accident because they're following the trail of what's happening. And then you get to share, your characters get to share the information. And even though the table knows what this person knows and the table knows, but like your characters get to have that RP moment, where you're like, oh, I learned this and I learned this. We should follow this trail. And the other person's, well, I learned this. That's a good idea. Or I think this is going to get us more information.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that was so fun. It was such a fun way to open up Realm Watchers. It started to become more of a hassle, kind of like what we were leading to earlier when the table got bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And everyone took too much time on their own thing.
Yeah. We had like Bacchus and Ace sometimes would like kind of like they would really chew a lot of the fat on that like opening of that getting into town and talking to people. And because like it's a little bit what I said earlier, which is like as a DM, I really like the RP stuff. And our friend Bacchus, the player, he really liked the RP stuff too. He just liked to shoot the shit. He just liked to just talk. And he would love to find noodle shop owners. And like Sav and myself would love to give him noodle shop owners and like taco stand owners. Like it was just a thing. It was just like, and we would sit there and RP in it. And it's like, yeah, again, it all goes back to like the DM responsibility and trying to like manage time and all that. But yeah, I don't know. I like splitting the party. I like it a lot.
You're welcome.
Oh man. Do you have anything else you'd wanna think we left out?
I talked about why you should split the party, talk about when you should split the party, talk about when you shouldn't split the party.
The good moments you can get, the laughs, and even the shining moments, the connecting with your character. Especially the character's motivations. But
I guess there are times where you should prevent the party from being split if there's like a specific character wants to do a thing on their own that only pertains to them and it's kind of out of the way.
Oh, okay, that wouldn't be a bad thing to kind of talk about is recognizing when a player wants to split but you don't think they really should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like we're going to do a job, but there's a denim poncho back in town.
Hey man, I really needed that fucking poncho. It's funny because in my mind when I made that decision as a player, where I purposely split away from the party, even though the party was going to go do something. The intention was to go to this town to go and continue on this quest or this
To hunt a bounty.
to hunt a bounty, a bounty that needed to get done. In my mind, my character was going to travel relatively quickly. I was going to be behind maybe half a day from the rest of the party. Like I was like, there's not a lot that's going to happen, right? We're both just traveling. It's just going to be travel time. The thing I'm waiting for is literally, you guys decided to travel at night, like, or whatever, midday. Well, I forgot what it was. It was after the shop had closed. Oh no, I think I had during the morning, decided to go get something commissioned, and then the party was like, "Oh, we're leaving later this day." It's like, shit, I just got this thing commissioned. Potentially, if I could just wait till the morning, I could put a rush on this order. I could potentially get this and head out. Only going to be behind the party by maybe half a day. At least that was my thought. I did not think all sorts of chaos. I did not think that the party was going to go to town, immediately go to the bounty, have a gunfight, steal horses, have a whole livery incident. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to happen. I showed up to town being like, well, where are my friends? What else? What is all this? Hey, guess what? Lucky owns a livery. Also, things went wrong. Oh, shit. Yeah, come to the livery. Well, I'm going to go buy some bait. But yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe you, I like this another thing that probably Saab would have been had a lot more perspective on in terms of like his recent experience with having a lot more like kind of random people with his GM stuff, which is being able to recognize when it looks like a player is trying too hard to have their own moment. And like, hey man, the party's really trying to do this thing. Like, and you keep trying to push to go do this other thing. Would you as a DM like shut off his routes? Like if he was trying to go do a thing and you're just like, oh yeah, you go down this way. Yeah. You don't see anything.
It would kind of be like the situation where like the splitting the party in combat when there isn't a apparent combat that could start kind of situation where you have to, where I tried to, portray that there is way too much danger for this specific person to be going off in that situation at that time. Yeah. Even if it's something innocuous, like I got to travel to the next city to go talk to a person. But my party's going that direction while I want to go in the other direction.
Sure.
I tried to put flags up like that. Like there's a situation in my first long running campaign where, player 1 and player 2, Valsam and Silwyn, they came to a town. They came to Varwood town. They found what they wanted. They found the person they're supposed to rescue from this. I would call them like the Dwarven CIA.
Sure.
They got them. Now they got to get out of town. So the NPCs tell them, "Oh, well, we could just sneak you out of town. I mean, everyone who comes in town gets recorded, but we could just sneak you out through like the grain entrance because we're the slave elves. We're also the secret terrorists in this city, and we like you. So we'll just sneak you out in a grain cart." Silwyn, the murder hobo elf, who went to that elf torture Bravo place earlier and almost died. Didn't learn the lesson. It's like, oh, I'll be right back. So they go, they climb a wall, they kill a couple sentries, big sneak attacks, and then they waste a very valuable potion on a golem. And they come back. It's like, okay, guys, we could go now. I've secured our exit. The entire town's on lockdown because 2 bodies are found.
Yeah.
And the entire time, I've broadcasted to them that this place is dangerous. It is not just a town, but it's also a big time like military city. It is like it is the big force of power that the dwarves have in the world.
Sure.
And they're in it. But Silwyn decided, I gotta go kill some guys at the gate that we came in from that we're not gonna leave out of.
Yeah.
So maybe all the attention's gonna be focused there. Lockdown.
Yeah.
Another situation.
Keep going, dog.
Same player, same character. Morgan. Where
he's gonna love the shout out.
He always does.
Yeah.
You know, even when I'm talking bad about him.
Yeah.
Where they're in like a foresty, marshy kind of place, and they're there with a bunch of paladins to go and cleanse some eldritch beasts from the land.
Sure.
And I tried my best to make it very apparent that there's no sneaking through this eldritch beast place because they can see exposed flesh. Like, so they can see your skin, like from a mile away. It's like pink mist. So while they're sneaking along the trees, there's just things constantly following them. And they're doing their best to rogue their way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure at what point, what I gotta do to make them say, oh, this is dangerous, I gotta leave. So I gotta throw something at them that can kill them. And they stick around to fight it instead of just running away. So there is a level of, you gotta put up the wall that says, beware of dog.
Yeah.
And then you gotta bring the dog out there, and it's the biggest, evilest dog you've ever seen, and hope that they understand that that dog's gonna kill them.
But sometimes
they stand there, it's like, I could take the dog.
yeah.
Is that a corpse over there in the corner? A human, full-grown man? I could take the dog. I got this.
I mean, yeah, because I'm trying to think of, like, of course, that would be in those given scenarios. Yeah, I would probably try to do something like that, similar. Like, oh, here's an overwhelming force, or here's this, big roadblocks to be like, hey, don't go down this way. This is going to be.
And the entire time, while those roadblocks are there, they have a host of people with them that they could just wait for.
Yeah.
And go with.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about all that on their own.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of, like, other scenarios like that where you're just, like, trying to continue, like, push but not push, to be like, hey, you probably should go in this direction and not this direction. Like, this is a bad direction to go. Like, I don't know if I would, like, end, like, crumb trails. Like, if they're trying to follow this lead into this way, if I just, like, kind of, essentially it vanishes. And it's like, even with high rolls, it's just like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. You gotta, like, I don't know if you do, like, the meta injection with, like, you're like, you don't find anything this way, but you remember that this person in your party has this thing. Like, maybe this will help.
I've tried to avoid that for for the most part.
Yeah.
I've been starting to do that now, especially with my last mini campaign. Like, you seem to remember that somebody has a scroll on them that could solve this problem.
Because we have talked about that. Like, there are other moments in which you doing a little bit of a meta injection back to your player to remind your players that, like, either they or a party member has a thing that will help in the situation. I don't know if maybe that would help if a player does seem to be very intent on, like, trying to go in a direction. Like, I think Sav had the example of, like, you see this creature. It is towering, its maw, giant teeth glistening with fucking fresh blood from a kill that it's seen. So you know that if you try to fight it, you will die from it. Like, some sort of moment where you're injecting into the player's mind.
I could take it.
Yeah, exactly. There's only so much you could do.
There's only so much you do. So, like, and I'm kind of bad at this, despite me even talking about it. Where, like, I like splitting the party. I like players to deal with the consequences of their actions.
Sure.
As long as those consequences have, like, an immediate, like, oh, there's something is going to happen, and it happens to them.
Yeah, sure.
Right? But, like, when it comes to a player splitting because they want to go to a place to go get a thing. So, like, your denim poncho,
sure,
for example. I think it was a line I had as Botan. It's like, when he was talking to Colt, is like, I don't care if you got a damn poncho there.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. It was another moment, I think, after that, where I was, a potential thing where I would be leaving or something. You're like, no. You're staying with us. I don't care what you have going on.
We send someone else to get that poncho. Don't worry, guys. You got it.
Yeah.
But like, in situations like that, I would just try to stop the player outright.
Yeah.
And just try to remind them, hey, you have some more dire circumstances happening, involving your entire party. You probably shouldn't go there.
I think maybe it might be, maybe it's a little bit much of a judgment call, but you're the DM. It's you're making judgment calls all the time about everything. Is like, is the task the person's trying to do, is it frivolous or is it like overwhelmingly selfish?
If it's too frivolous, I would try my best to stop them.
Yeah.
If it's something that has immediate consequences to that character, I would let them go.
Or even like what you were saying before, which is like if the character's impassioned in a way, like the character that you had that was like pursuing the elvish slave dungeon or whatever. It's like that's like a meaningful thing to the character.
That was perfectly fine for me.
Like that's not frivolous.
Like they could either learn something or figure out what it is like to be an elf out in the world as opposed to being on a, some manor somewhere.
Yeah. Versus like, one of the examples I have where like Ace went to a fucking bow merchant looking for a +1 bow or a +1 above what he had. And it's like, that's more of a frivolous moment. Like, yes, that will help you in the long run for your character. But it does impact the rest of the party in that if you do hit better and you do hit whatever, it is better for the party. But also, it doesn't necessarily need to be a moment that you need to have to yourself.
Yeah. And situations like that, like I would try to stop it. Or I could just, if it is like shopping, just say, hey, you roll for it.
Yeah, you just let's move along. Like, yeah, that happens.
Roll for it. He's out for 15 minutes. He finds nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's yes. If somebody goes off in pursuit, like investigating thing, it's like, yeah, hey, roll it. Yeah, okay, you're going to spend the next 15 minutes doing that. You're going to really not find anything. And then, like, let's go back to the rest of the party. That also is a little bit of a meta injection, too. Where you're
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, where you're like, essentially tell the player, hey, there's nothing down this path.
The player wants to walk into the dungeon of instant elf death, and they're an elf. And you know what? I'll just let them go.
Yeah, that to me, that strays a little bit away from the frivolous thing. Which is, it's not frivolous. I've warned you enough that this path will kill you. And if you as a player go like, yeah, I want to go down the death path. I go, you know what? I tried to stop you by telling you this is the death path. This is the path of death. This is the path that everyone dies at. This is everyone in town is telling you, go down this path and there's nothing but dying.
Only if you're an elf.
Only if you're an elf. And guess what, buddy? You're an elf. And that player goes, well, all right, we're going to put my toes in it. And you're just like, fine, go.
I rolled 32. Anything?
The thing about you rolling 32 is as your dice rolls and it lands on the 32, you see it start to slowly fade away from your vision as your character just dissolves from existence. Like, what happened? I told you multiple times this is the path of elf death, and you went down and you're dead now.
Yep. Well, what can you do?
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Cool. Well, that was our little episode on splitting the party. And maybe next week, if I remember, or our next recording, I'll check in with Sov to see if he has anything he'd want to say about it. But you'd be able to see Sov's links in the description of this video. He runs games on startplaying.game. Startplaying.game?
Yes.
So if you want him to run a game for you, he's a really fun DM. I love having him as DM. He's really likes his characters, really likes being in character. I'm Nix. I have my link in the description. It's a YouTube channel full of old, outdated gameplay of a early access video game. I think it's out of early access. It's a really super fun video game called Timberborn. Give it a shot. If you got like touches of like you like Minecraft and you like Satisfactory and you like games where you just get lost in what a colony is doing, Timberborn's your game, dog. It's a good time. I don't work for Timberborn. I'm just advertising for him right now.
Man just loves his beavers.
I love my beavers, man. I love my wet beavers. Also, that is part of the game. Part of what makes the beavers happy is getting them wet. It is a thing. It is a condition that the beavers get.
Yeah, keep them wet.
You got to keep them wet. You got to let them go in the water or give them a shower. Or let them go swimming. It's hot. It's hot beavers need to get wet. The game knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Well, anyways, great.
I'm Graythorn. My links are probably definitely in the description somewhere. I usually try to stream all my D&D games. I should be on the day that this releases, I'm sure. Running a mini campaign with my crew.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully Thursdays don't suck for me because I gotta rush home to actually get there and play them. But it'll be a mini campaign. They have been instructed to be 0 level wizards.
Oh, nice.
They will be playing essentially kids who are on their way up in the magic world, in
Nice.
my world, and I'm gonna ruin them. I'm going to ruin them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you for listening. Give this video a like and subscribe. For me, my own personal goal, if we could get up to the 100 subscribers, that'd be great. Also, if we could get a couple more likes on the main video, that'd be awesome.
And what is your favorite instance of having your party split or least favorite?
Oh, there you go.
Let us know.
Yeah, comment that. All right. Cool. Thank you for listening. Bye.